I had no internet, no time, and I was making no progress on any of my books. So that's why we're going to be discussing struggling with time management, 3 key strategies. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. So the thing was I was working on my very first books. I had got my very first book onto the market. I found the motivation level was very high and progress was coming along quickly. I was sitting in Norway and I was trying to figure out here how exactly am I going to continue making progress. The challenge was that I was feeling overwhelmed with all of the different aspects of things going on in life at the time. I wanted to get my books onto the market. I had additional books in my mind, and I was realizing this self-publishing thing could be something huge for me. I took a little bit of time because with my first book I wasn't completely sure, but now I was 100% certain that self-publishing was definitely right for me. But with 3 kids, a wife, my day job, my social life, and also different organizations and clubs that we belong to, I discovered I had absolutely no time remaining for the very thing that I thought could possibly be something great for my life and my family. So the thing was, I wasn't making any progress. I had slowed down and I was investing a big fat 0 minutes a day in self-publishing. I was using absolutely no time at all. And what was at stake was that I would possibly quit working on it altogether. The sales I had been making on my books would begin to slowly diminish since I wasn't giving them the time and attention that was necessary to ensure I was getting the sales that I needed. And so I was risking everything coming to a grand crashing stop. The thing was, I began to doubt that maybe I simply wasn't going to have the time. Maybe I needed to wait until the kids were out of the house. You just give it another 10, 20 years, and then I would have the time. Does that make sense? And so by that point in time, then I'm sure I would have tons of time. But at the same time, I realized that these doubts that I was experiencing, they were simply trying to stop me from making any progress at all. Because I know myself so well when it comes to if I put something off, I'm never going to get back to it. But then I faced the very first obstacle, which was that when I would get started, I started making excuses. I had so many excuses as to why this whole self-publishing thing was definitely not going to work for me because of this time issue that I was facing. The second thing I was facing was that I needed to relax. I needed to watch TV shows and movies. I needed to do things that, help me relax after long days at work, dealing with kids and family and all of these sorts of things. Many things I really enjoy. No problem with that. But then, I deserve a break. Sit with some potato chips in front of the TV and just binge watch a TV series. But then I have no time, right, for self-publishing because I've been so busy with all of these other activities. But then a guide came along, somebody who I really trust, this guy named Miles. He came along and he had a number of suggestions, 3 exact to be specific, the suggestions that he came up with, which really made the difference for me when it came to time management. The first thing he pointed out was that you need to write everything down and order that list in priority when it comes to self-publishing. Really, when it comes to anything in life, but especially with self-publishing, what are the absolute most important things that you need to do immediately in order to get control over this thing? Be specific. There should be absolutely nothing in your head that you need to remember because after all, it's all written down. Now, you can do it on a piece of paper, or you can do it in a program I use called Todoist, or you could just do it in an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets, right? Put the list down, order by priority, and that's our first thing. The second thing is set aside a certain amount of time each day. It's called chunking or blocking off time. In particular, make sure you have it at the beginning of the day. This is called the swallow the frog. You take the task that you really don't want to do, your most important task, your MIT, and you want to nail that one first thing in the day. So the very most important thing, we're going to hit it right up front. But what is the most important thing? Well, that goes back to the first tip and first strategy, which is what is the most important thing? You have the list. It's in the order of importance. Does that make sense? And in particular, there's a million tasks when it comes to self-publishing. And so you need to figure out what is the next task to move the needle forward. And we're not talking about wasting time on social media like so many people tend to do. And the third tip that was given is join some sort of group coaching or accountability where you're going to be held accountable and you're going to have a community that you can plug into. That is a place where you're going to share every day the progress that you're making, and you're going to get feedback from the other people in the group coaching as well as from the coach themselves in terms of making progress. And so that was a very powerful one, and that's one of the reasons I offer a new program on group coaching, which you can find below in the description, to help you achieve your goals. It's just getting started, and so the first month is absolutely free. You can join for absolutely free to see if it works for you. If this is something that would be of interest for you, I've got one person currently inside of this group coaching since I just launched it, but it is available for many other people. I would suggest just join and see what difference it makes. You have one goal, which is to just give your status of what you've done on a daily basis inside of the group coaching area, and then we can go back and forth discussing what is the next step, what is the most important step for you. And this alone is crazy powerful at helping you achieve your goals. But for me, I did finally face my final obstacle with regards to my situation. I was sitting taking public transportation on the way to work. I had no internet, so I could make no progress. So what I ended up doing was I bought a wireless router so that I could actually connect my computer to the internet. That was the first barrier I was able to overcome. I then hired an accountability coach who was going to hold me accountable for achieving 5 minutes of work a day. Now that sounds like nothing. She was completely surprised. It was somebody I had hired on Fiverr to do this. This person at the time was from, I forgot, Tunisia was where she was from. And she would simply have one job, which is, what have you done today? What progress have you made today? And would check in to make sure I was continually moving forward. Now I wish I had had group coaching like I'm offering now, but I didn't at the time have that exact thing as an option. And so I went with this person at that time. And then we would check in to see how far we come. But what I discovered was that by simply making these small changes and implementing these 3 key strategies for time management, my 5 minutes a day quickly turned into 2 hours a day. Suddenly, I felt the motivation, because it's not just about managing the time, it's managing your motivation and energy levels. And by following these strategies, I was able to completely flip around the entire problem that I was experiencing at the time. So my question for you is, if you are struggling with time management problems, what are you waiting for? Click the Buy Now button below and check out the group coaching, and let's get started. First month is for free, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks.